welcome to One Word a Day year-end special editions. It's a series that I call 36 Tactics, 36计. It's the number 2 tactic we're introducing today. So let's review the yesterday. We have number 1 tactic, which is to keep the facade, the shell, the same, but redistribute your energy, your resources, which is the cicada, the chan, and then you try to get rid of there quietly. So basically you retreat quietly without being noticed. So that's the number 1 strategy. Number 2, 抛砖引玉. 抛砖引玉. It's still frequently used in our daily language, but the original language is actually different meaning. I didn't realize that until when I look at this expression from the tactic point of view. Okay, 抛 is our throat. So we have this 5-finger hand symbol on the left, right? And the right side is 力 is our power, muscle power. We use it as a farming tool, probably a rake. So farming tool is the main production tool back then. So we use that as a symbol to mean power. It's reasonable, right? Because productivity back then, the GDP, right, back then probably mostly came from farming activity. So that's the main, I mean, that was the technology back then, right? That's the AI of 1,000 years ago. So that's the thing. So that's the power. And then we have the middle part, which is character you. This character was a little bit hard to see. I mean, it's a sandwich in the middle of the 2 icons. But you can see it's a 3-finger hand symbol, kind of squished over there. And then there is this this shape. I don't exactly know what that shape is. But according to some scholar, that kind of shape is our letter. I mean, it's a Chinese character yi, which is shaped almost like an English character Z, letter Z. Letter Z come from this going one direction and then make a turn and then make a turn again, right? Letter Z have this sense of it's zigzag, right? It's not a straight line. You have to go, sideways almost to reach your destination. So similar concept here in Chinese character yi, which is a little bit curvious, as you can see portrayed here. It's kind of a curvious. It's kind of going that way, going this way, and going that way again. So this concept of twist and turning, it's our life's journey, is our symbol to understand, to grow, to become somebody worthy, or some successful or achievement, whatever in our contemporary valuation system. To achieve something big goal, you have to go through this torture, almost this path, this zigzag way. So that's our concept. And if you go through that and you still grow, you still thrive, congratulations, you pass the life's test. And then that's the definition of somebody who is going to be outstanding. That means they endure all that stress and have go this way and have to retreat and move forward again, try again, and do a lot of that make one stand out. That means you have strong tenacity, you have strong goal orientation, you know where you're going, keep going at it, no matter how zigzag twists and turns you take in the middle. Okay, so that's our concept of that. And the 3 symbols, the farming tool, the 5-hand symbol, 5-finger hand symbol, 3-finger hand symbol, plus this twist and turn together mount to this concept of throwing. So I guess throwing, it relates to power, right? So hand symbol occurred twice in 2 versions, no surprise. And then this curvier sign, probably it's the projectile. I don't know, it's like over the air, it's going to be up and down, right? And that's a little bit curvy side of that. And the farming to the li, the muscle power representation, not directly of like your bicep, you know, represented. We do have a, in the masculinity character a few episodes ago, we do have this direct masculinity representation of something on the arm. It's the bicep on your arm. But in here is a farming tool to represent indirectly the power, the muscle powers to go to pull that farming tool. So you have a puffer and you have the hand, throw something in this projectile. Okay, there you go. That's our throw. And okay, let's go to the next verb, because this is a structure of verb, noun, verb, noun. We get to the verbs first. So the second verb is our archery, and the thread. I don't know what's the terminology for that, but on the bow, right, you have the structure of bow, the stable part, like it doesn't change shape. I mean, change slightly. And then you have this string on the bow, and you're going to pull. And as the tension go higher, that means more power when you release the string, right? The arrow going to be installed on here, and then when you release it, it's going to shoot. So that's the mechanism of bow shooting. And how come it becomes the symbol of attraction? My interpretation of that is this is the bow structure and this is a string. So for you to create a momentum of something going, in the case of bow is an arrow shooting out, but yin is more like attract something coming to you, not outward going, but inward going, if you're the destination, right? So this tension, this you know, pulled the string from its natural default position. If you pull that, you already input your energy in there, right? You already create the tension in there, and that tension to be released is the cause, or the, you know, underlying underlying power of how attraction, or how attract you pull something towards you, you develop this tension first. So this is a tension creation is the first step, and the attract is the next step, the logical conclusion of that. It's almost like your man-made artificial gravity. Gravity is this way, right? But horizontally, if we want to shoot arrow out, we artificially create this tension between the string's natural position and your pulled out position, and then you shoot the arrow. So that's how the pre-step to attract. Okay, so now we have the two verbs out. We have a throw, and then we have attract. So throw is something you gave out. Attract is something you gave, right? And now let's see the object. So you throw a brick. Brick comes from the stone symbol. I mean, I couldn't find the ready character in Chinese. I have to piece it together again here. So this is the left side. It's the kind of a cliff. So we have this bottom left corner, and we have the top left corner. So when we have this top left corner in the language creation, that means some high ground. So most likely it's a cliff, right? It's not a man-made structure. It's naturally occurred cliff. And then we draw this object. So something that composed of this cliff. So that's the kind of stone concept that came from tall structure, and that's the component of the tall structure. So that's our stone. And then the right side is the sound maker. The sound maker came from this 3-hand symbol over here, 3-finger hand symbol, and then this horizontal line pointing toward the wrist is actually 1 inch below the wrist. That means this is a pulse measuring spot, and that's the inch symbol for Chinese inch. So okay, so we have an inch here, and then the top side, it looks like a spoke again, right? So it's a kind of a spool spinner thing. So it's a textile, it's a part of a loom or the fabric production, some device back then that involves with twist and turning, I mean the rolling of things, So that that loom structure was used combined with this inch thing. So that means it was depicting this fabric making process, this weaver. I mean, I guess we can imagine a weaver or the spinner of the yarn production. So in either case, it's domestic fabric production activity that requires your attention. So this right side, contemporary Chinese simplified into that, the ancient way came from this focus of attention on fabric making activity, supposedly spinning or looming. And then this focus paired with the stone sign together, it means brick. So brick now looks like a stone, but it's a man-made thing. It's no longer naturally occurring stone. It's man-made stone look-alike and architecture, I mean, building material. So that's the brick. Okay, jade, much simpler structure. However, don't be deceived by the simplicity. The jade was a major precious stone back then, valued in Chinese culture, ancient times at least. You can see the contemporary one, we add one dot over there. I don't know why, but that dot distinguish this character from a Chinese family name. Actually, it's the #1 world most used surname of all population global-wise. Wang is the #1 family name global-wise. Most people name the Wang than anybody else. Okay, so without the dot is Wang. With the dot here is Yu. Wait, 抛砖引玉. Okay, here is a falling tone. Sorry, here it's a falling tone, not a rising tone. So the fourth tone here, Yu. Okay, we have 3 horizontal lines originally, and without the dot there. And here, according to scholars, we can only imagine because now the trade of jade was not as common as before. Well, jade was regarded as a precious metal, no, precious stone, and it has the, I guess, the value retainer as a treasure or as a personal adornment, as a status symbol, like all kinds of the use of jade back then. So jade was frequently traded and have to be kept in an orderly way so it can be easily checked and traded, right? So these are supposedly the top-down view of the discs of jade. They already form into this uniformed width and length, probably a circular thing, like a disc already formed that. And then in the middle, there's a hole. And then you can put a string over it and combine them together into a stack, a unit of jade. And so that jade trade image, eventually, this storage way of jade was used to represent jade, the material. So this is a form of storage of that material, now used to refer to the material. Now the contemporary add a dot over there, but it came from the jade. The whole thing represents jade. Now, even if it's simple, value-wise, the jade is a lot more expensive than brick. So now when you give out a brick, you throw a brick out there. And the brick probably looks somewhat similar to jade. And then you, in hope that you can attract jade in. So can you picture that tactic to attract what you really want, which is jade, high value item? You throw out, you do your initial investment or whatever, right? Of low value, similar looking, but value-wise is low. So I guess in time of like emergency, supposedly your enemy couldn't see exactly what you're throwing in there. You know, if I throw a bomb or something, right? They couldn't tell exactly what that is. So they are going to throw some higher powered, like more expensive stuff, which is represented by jade in there. So that's the whole deploy or ploy that you're going to, you hope you can let your enemy, like you hope you can cost your enemy a lot more than what cost you by throwing out some low cost of weaponry, right? In hope that your enemy are going to shoot back with a lot more expensive weaponry. And that way you depleting the resources of your enemy. And the game playbook of a war to a good extent is about the resource management. So if your enemy were depleted on your trick of you're throwing a brick, but they couldn't tell what that is, so they use a much higher grade level of weaponry against your attack, right? And that is a loss to your enemy. And that's the strategy you're taking here. So 抛砖引玉, I use it, I mean, English, I have no better way to depict that. I just use it as bait. So you bait your enemy with some worm, but your enemy gives you a big fish. So that's the concept of 抛砖引玉 I'm using here. And somebody said, throw the spread for a whale, something like that. I guess in English you have a similar concept to mean to capture this exchange. It's really unequal value exchange. You're going to use some cheaper stuff for more expensive from the other side in exchange. So here I'm introducing this probably fictionalized warfare back then. The two armies are in battle, and they're probably in battle for a long time, and one side was running out of weaponry, and this smart guy, this strategist back then called 诸葛亮. Okay, so a lot of stories about him, a lot of language, in our language about him. So in this 草船借箭, this straw-covered boat structure, and they're even having a drinking party inside, were used. I mean, supposedly, who knows if it happened, were used as the fake target, as this break throwing. So they drive this boat close to the enemy on the disguise of misty, foggy day. So the enemy, I mean, when they saw boats coming up from their enemy, right? Their automatic, like knee-jerk reaction to that is, okay, we have to defend ourselves. They shoot 10万, which is 100,000 arrows out toward the boat to defend themselves in that instance. So that enemy, without the full knowledge of, it was not really an attack to them. It was a tactic, a trick played on them of this coming from this brilliant strategist, that they are going to use this to borrow, 借鉴, borrow the arrows from the well-resourced enemy, so that they can have free 100,000 arrows ready-made, still in good function. The arrows shooting on the straws still can work, can be reused, right? So the whole idea about, put the boat, the straw-covered boat out there to your enemy, right? That's your 砖, and then you're going to attract the jade, more expensive resources from your enemy, which is the arrows in this situation. So that's the kind of 抛砖引玉 in action, in use, at least in the fiction of this wartime drama. But okay, in contemporary Chinese, often people say, especially commentators saying something, they would open before their speech, before they make their point, they will say, this is 抛砖引玉. So they are using 抛砖引玉, not in a military combative way, not in a, as if it's a tactic, but they are using it as a humble way to say what their speak piece their point is only 专, they are not valuable. I'm only saying this so that your jaded words, your words of value, precious stone value are going to come. So to attract your valued opinion, I'm only throwing my, low value brick-like, opinion out there. So often Chinese would use 抛砖引玉 in the beginning of their speech. It's a way to show humbleness, to show, okay, I have nothing good to offer. I only, to do this, to speak my piece is in order to gain understanding of what you are thinking. Like your value is much valuable than mine. So that's a Chinese, probably a little bit of hypocrisy out there, because who don't value their own opinions, right? But that's a Chinese specific expression. Before they say anything, they will say, this is just 抛砖引玉. Okay, cash into the currency of thinking by one word a day with Sophie. See you another day.